because we have catastrophe in the making.
Indeed. We need to have a national dialogue, but it begins also with the legislators. Farah Maalim, since you are at it, you're first out of the gate to make sure that you are seeking the ban of Miraa during your tenure there, going back as the National Assembly. Don't you think maybe you need to come up with this particular debate again?
Yeah. We'll come up with it. But why do we need to come with a debate on whether cocaine should be legal or illegal?
Just continue. Mustafa,
do we need a parliamentary debate to determine whether cocaine is legal or illegal? It's a drug. It's a global thing. So this is not a political issue. This is a medical issue. This is it's something that essentially is recognized the world over. Toxicology, all those things. Why do we have to have a conversation around it when it's a drug? Do we have to have a situation in this country where we can say all drugs are legal? And those ones that basically can be determined through consensus or through conversation, those ones we can decide the conversation is powerful so we can make them illegal. The legality or illegality of any drug is based on the chemical formula of that drug. The chemical formula of Muguka and Miraa is that they are toxic drugs. Shisha, the same thing. Cocaine, marijuana, bang. There should be no exception. Let's follow the law. You see what I mean? Let's follow the law. You're talking of very brilliant boys and girls who have been destroyed by these things. I sent a young man out of the country myself in 2017. The young man was a straight A student, ex-Terehe boys, University of Nairobi doing engineering, applied to Stanford and Harvard, and got 100% scholarship. Even his ticket was sent. All he needed was some little bit of money for winter clothing because it takes a bit of time between the time when you get your stipends and the rest of it and the time when you report. And I facilitated that minimal thing. The fellow was supposed to be the top student of his class. But somehow, some people introduced him into drugs. And he came back in a vegetative condition. Finished. A genius, destroyed just like that. Influenced by some of his friends there. Rural boy, gets a very good grade in his own rural school there, which is outside Garissa, comes to Terehe boys, makes it to the University of Nairobi, and then the next thing you know is that he's in Harvard on a full scholarship and with a good stipend. And easy, slippery, sloppy, slippery, and basically gets into these things. And he comes back in a form. I was wondering, I was actually regretting why I sent him in the first place. Maybe we should not have sent him because he was doing very well here. But we sent him because we knew this guy was going to come back with a Harvard degree, go for masters, become one of the top people in the, literally the genius from Kenya. But that's how we ended up. And then many, many young men and women, including the one you were telling me who got his drinks spiked. Spiked by his friends. And now he's destroyed completely. Straight A student. So we must protect right now I'm told there are people who are selling candies that are laced with.
In schools as well.
In schools, as young as standard 1, standard 2 children are being, so they're creating the habit so that they can have a market for their.
Shot.
They should be killed. Those ones we should have a death penalty for that. In Hong Kong, Singapore.
But Farah, the problem is, you're saying they should be shot. Who's going to do the shooting?
The law. Yeah, the law.
If the people in charge of the law
are involved in the business.
Yeah.
Having a discussion over Moguka, they need a consultation. We can't believe where we are at. Actually, we should sit down as a nation, discuss about Muguka.
What Mheshimiwa is saying is just the tip of the iceberg. I'll tell you for free, and whoever is listening to us this morning, for the last 2 decades, I've not done anything in my life other than working, dealing with young people in our universities and our colleges.
Yes.
And I've had a glimpse into this because I've worked in our hospitality school where we train some of the very best personnel for the hospitality industry in this country at the Kenya Hotel College. And I'm now working in the University of Nairobi. I've interacted with young people. The problem is bigger than we are describing it. The problem is bigger than we think and appreciate as a nation. That's why I'm saying that I thank God that Muguka has brought this debate to the fore right now. And if we don't seize the moment, I'm repeating myself, I said this earlier, we will lose a nation. You see, what we are not appreciating is that the men and women involved in the business of drugs are not the simple Kenneth Mbongis, the simple Mustafas and Professor Macharias and Farahs of this world, are people who have obscene amounts of money, influence, and they can control things. You talk about the law, you know what happens in the corridors of Parliament, Mr. Miwa. I've never been to Parliament. When money is around, you know the way people vote there. So I think this is a challenge that we need to begin tackling much more seriously than we have done, because billions of dollars are actually involved, and people will pay their way. If you take it to Parliament, they will pay their way, and we will have a law that will not be helping us. So what we need is to resolve as a nation, as a people, each and every one of us. And as we are here, I'm sure there is somebody who knows a child of somebody, a relative, a child of a close friend, who is a zombie as we speak, cannot move, cannot reason. Is that direction?
No, not one, not two, not 10.
You know that?
We know, yes.
So then we need to face it. We need to face our president and tell him this is a problem. I know President Ruto knows this because he's in this country. Yes. So let's not hide. Let's not sugarcoat what we are saying. There is a problem in the country of drugs and substance abuse, and we need to have a conversation and be strong about it and say this is not about money. We have cultivated a wrong culture in this country where money means everything. If I got the money today, even some of you who are much older than me will begin calling me Mzee. Where did that come from? Where did I become a Mzee just because I have money? We need, Prof talked about a culture. This thing is deeper than, and it shows a fundamental problem in our society. Just banning Muguka and a few other things would be like treating the symptoms. The fundamental problem is we have become a country that loves money by any means and by all means. Nobody asks, if I start flashing money around, nobody will ask, where did Kenneth Mbongi get all this? You all worship me, call me Mzee, Baba, and many other things. So let's treat this fundamental problem.
All right. I think we've done enough justice to this topic.
Only one thing, just a rider on what you said.
Please.
We had a very frank, lively, open debate on members of parliament who were named in drug business in 2012.
When Saitoti said these are the people.
When Saitoti came out and said these are the people, and Saitoti did not leave for a month after that. I'll mention to you somebody I know who told me that somebody came to him, a member of parliament that time, and told him, take this money and don't talk about that thing. If you don't do that, you'll deal with this. We showed him a gun on the other side. And that person took off from then on and never went back to that debate again.
You see?
I was the one who was on the chair when this matter of Saitoti was being debated. I was chairing that session. And I gave it a massive leeway. A massive leeway. Precisely because of giving that massive leeway. And later on saying that those people who are suspects in this saga should have their accounts frozen, pending determination of the matter itself in its entirety. A very senior person from my own party, when I was running for the Speaker's position of the Senate in 2013, came and sponsored and managed to get 5 members of ODM to vote the other side, and I lost with 1 vote. And his brother, that person's brother, did not hesitate even to hide it. He says, this is because of the way you handled that drugs issue last time. We've had people who are suspected of drugs becoming governors. Everything you can imagine in this country. So this is a drugs country. This is a drugs country.
There are many Pablos.
Yes, there are many Pablo Escobars here. and we, in that debate, look for the Hansard. Look for the Hansard. Musila is still there. He was the minister, assistant minister for defense. And he was asking questions. Is it true that some government military assets were used for the movement of drugs? And he said, yes, we have that information. At the time, there was a very senior female in the country who was also one of the suspects in that area. And when I say very senior, you know, it's senior. Very, very, you know, there's VIP and there's VVIP. You know what that means?
Yeah, she's a VVIP. Very, very, very.
Very important person, and then the very, very important person.
Maybe another rider to work for us.
Yes.
And if it is true, it's a disaster. There is a belief around that appointment to high office depends on how much you contribute to that appointment.
It's not belief, it's a fact.
Okay, now